Charlie Kirk was murdered today by evil, and hopefully his family will, by the grace of God, endure this and overcome it and remember him. We feel for his family and his children, and we want the man who did this, or woman who did this, to be found and punished to the full extent of the law. Leftists, like the scumbags on MSNBC, have contributed to dehumanizing the people who disagree with them. They called Charlie a Nazi or fascist, but they never said how he reflected those ideals. Okay, this is the evil of the left and how they just don't care. And this was happening when he was shot.
I wasn't going to drink today, but Charlie Kirk got iced. We're turning up. Here are some trans activists and some far-left extremists, according to and celebrating this. I wish the bullet that hit Charlie Kirk a very pleasant day. Oh wow, she did a good job. Thoughts and prayers to the bullet's family. Finally, some good news out of my state, LMAO. Now let's watch a clip. This was compiled by Libs of TikTok. These are leftists celebrating Charlie Kirk's assassination attempt.
I'm not saying she deserved it, but I'm saying God's timing is always right.
And look at that. And, I'm noticing something in this video. The age demographic.
This is just evil. And hopefully these people will meet their maker and have to account for their evil, celebrating the man being shot who was doing nothing wrong.
After these individuals, they seem to be like maybe in their early 20s, okay? These are all people that if Charlie Kirk had the opportunity, he would be spending all day sitting in the sun, talking to them about politics and trying to go back and forth with them to gain understanding of their perspective, but also to share his perspective with them. And here they are, cheering on the fact that he has been shot.
Breaking news, Charlie Kirk was in the neck. As of right now, I think his condition is unknown. And there are a lot of people that are like, no matter what side of politics you're on, you should never celebrate something bad happening to someone. I, on the other hand, do cheer when bad things happen to bad people. So on behalf of everybody else, I got this shit. I don't know if he's gonna make a recovery or not. I don't know what his condition is. It like just happened as I'm filming this. I saw the video of it happening. I do not feel bad for him in the slightest, and I'm very, very much wondering what MAGA is going to react with. I wonder how they're going to make this about how black people shouldn't be allowed gun, or trans people. They're probably going to blame a trans black person. I don't fuck. But we can all celebrate because something really awful happened to a really, really awful guy. And again, if you're one of those dipshit people that are like, no matter what happens, you should never wish death on someone, I'm going to cheer and dance and sing.
So many times.
See, that piece of garbage, excrement rather, not even for worth being called garbage, should never be hired by anybody, because that kind of person who has no empathy wouldn't be a good fit for any employee. And all Charlie did was talk to people. He didn't pass laws, he didn't make laws, you didn't have to listen to him. So he couldn't harm you. All he did was disagree with people who had the lie of trans, and he pointed out hard truths. And you were afraid to disagree with him. To celebrate him being murdered, that's just an evil person. Hopefully nobody will ever hire this woman for anything. She is not fit to be around civilized people.
Stories pop up in this world, and I'm like, wow, we've lost our humanity. I'm just reminded that at least some of us, like, we're completely devoid of humanity and our attachment to humanity. Need I remind you guys, we are human beings. Everybody's a human being.
All right, so that's the end of this part that I'm showing for her. You can go see her video here. Amelia, I'm not sure how to say her, Inkaboki, I'm not sure how to say her name. But check it out for the full context. I don't want to get copyright infringed on it, so I'm just going to stop here. Although they called Charlie a fascist Nazi, he never called for the government via regulations to control private industry, which is fascism. He never called for government to take control of the means of production. That's socialism. That's what Hitler stood for. The left are masters of emotional manipulation, which is why they call names instead of debating facts and truth in context. The left uses subjective things like hate speech and hate crimes and corrupting the word phobia to silence those who disagree with them, along with violence to get their way. They, the left, share a lot with Hitler's socialist Nazis and Stalin's communists, who will be proud of how well they use emotions and media to push their agenda of leftism. The left will attempt to use this tragedy to end the First and Second Amendments, pretending it's only for the good of the people, when its real purpose is so the people can't fight back against the evil plans of control. Only tyrants and dumbasses blame inanimate objects and not the people using them. And only tyrants and dumbasses restrict speech that doesn't call for the harm or violation of law. Leftists would try to claim falsely that they need to control all guns to prevent this from happening, which is false, as most gun owners aren't evil people who murder. And the leftists will also try to say they need to control speech so nothing hateful is said, which is also false, as we also have laws against calls to violence or other illegal actions. Sadly, via emotional manipulation, many people will support removing all guns and limiting speech beyond calls for action. Leftists will try to say things are hateful, such as pointing out the truth, such as humans only come in male or female, and that never changes. That will be considered hate, and it is considered hate in some cases by leftist standards. Although it's true, the truth is never hateful. It's just what is. And hopefully TPUSA will keep growing. And via the clashing of ideas, leftism, which includes socialism, communism, and fascism, will be reduced to nothing.
You're in the thick of a lot of the things, obviously, that we talk about here. So first, I just want to talk briefly about how we met, because I think it kind of shows sort of how you operate and why Turning Point has taken off. So we had met about a month and a half ago at the Harlowitz Freedom Center event in Palm Springs. Were you a panelist there? Or were you
I was a panelist and just kind of helicoptering around with a lot of friends that attend that conference.
Yeah, so you were there and everyone was like, oh, you got to meet Charlie Kirk, you got to meet Charlie Kirk. We met for 2 seconds. You said a couple nice things about me and you're like, we're doing this, our gig in Palm Springs in a couple weeks, why don't you come down and talk? And immediately we worked it out and your guys sent me the paperwork the next day and it was done. And I think that does illustrate something, because we're going to get into some of the issues that we agree on and some of the things we disagree on. But basically you were like, look, you're down for free speech. That's the main thing here. Yeah. And I want my audience to hear you talk about it.
Well, you're a rational thinker, which is really rare to find in California. I'm kidding. But no, I'm a big fan of the show, and I watch a lot of your interviews, and I know you have a huge following amongst young people, and I met you. I was like, yeah, let's get you on board. I've always been a gut player, for better or for worse. It's got me into a little bit of trouble at times.
Yeah.
But I think it's been positive.
Charlie's been on this.
Charlie was all about freedom of will, speech, thought, and faith. No conservative note ever celebrated people who simply disagree with them, excluding criminals, with them being harmed or dying. You don't see anybody who's a conservative being happy when somebody is harmed. We don't disagree with you. We disagree with you. We'll fight with you all over the stage verbally and about ideas, but we never want to harm you. We don't break into property. We don't destroy anything. So we're not that way. Charlie was a nice guy, from what I can see on TV. I never met him, but he seemed like a nice guy, and he always talked nice to the people who were in his audience and who he debated with. It wasn't like leftists who called for property damage, who called for businesses to be destroyed, and called for lives to be ended figuratively and far too often literally. like they did to Charlie. Charlie, you did good. May you rest the side of the Lord.